Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been approved in the following manner. On Friday, June 14, 2013, notice of this meeting was faxed to the Montclair Times, the Herald News, and the Star Ledger. The time, date, and location of this meeting were accurately set forth therein. On the same date, a copy of said notice was filed with the Township Clerk and was posted at the Public Bulletin Board in the first floor main hall of the Board of Education building, 22 Valley Road. Please be advised that this meeting is considered a public meeting under the law and may be taped, broadcasted, used, or reproduced in ways and in mediums beyond the control of the Board of Education. Individual statements and opinions expressed are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent the Montclair Board of Education. Please keep in mind that if you directly disclose personally identifiable information or personally sensitive data regarding yourself or others during this public meeting, this information may be collected and used by others. Accordingly, the Board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the Board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the Board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The Board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Speakers, therefore, should carefully evaluate their statements for individual consequences under the law and should obtain any appropriate professional advice prior to speaking. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready for a roll call, please?
Ms. Coe?
Here.
Mr. Cummings? Here. Mr. Boyd? Here. Ms. Coleman?
Here.
Ms. Larson?
Here.
Ms. Lombard?
Here.
Mr. Rosenberg? Here. Thank you.
We have the motion for the minutes of the rest of the...
Second.
Any questions, corrections? All in favor?
I would like to start, if it would please the Board, to recognize Nick Paleo. Nick has been with us for quite a long time as our interim business administrator, and tonight will be his last board meeting. And so we wanted to recognize him for his service. We have got a little gift for him, but I just want to say how much I appreciate all that he has done on our behalf and assisted the Montclair Public Schools with. So thank you, Nick. Tonight we have some special awards and recognitions to give out. We begin by congratulating 3 of our distinguished science teachers, Gloria Lafari of Edmont School, Owen Ambrose, and Joyce Week of Montclair High School on being selected to participate in the Wipro Science Education Fellowship Program at Montclair State University, where they were recently honored at a ceremony. Only 20 teachers from 5 districts were chosen for the Wipro Fellowship, a 2-year program in partnership with the University of Boston. An outstanding accomplishment. This teacher leadership program supports experienced K-12 science teachers to deepen their practice while staying in the classroom. We're proud of their participation and wish them well as they begin this important work. If you are here tonight, please come up to accept your certificate. award to give to high school senior Alan Liu. I'm sorry, freshman. It's hard with Alan because he's so bright. But high school freshman Alan Liu, with our sincere gratitude, we're presenting Alan with a certificate of appreciation, acknowledging him for contributing his exceptional computer programming expertise to the Montclair Public Schools school assignment policy. Alan essentially has written the program that will allow us to effectively utilize our system for school assignment in the 21st century. So Alan, if you could please come up. Understanding that rather than a 5 to 10 day process, once we put the information into Alan's program, it will take approximately 10 seconds. Welcome to the 21st century. Thank you, Alan. We'd like to also congratulate several of our Montclair High School teams and athletes who've enjoyed a successful spring sports season, both on the field and off. Individual accomplishments include academic honors for our girls lacrosse players, as well as record-breaking performances by girls track members, while crew teammates took home gold medals. Here to help us recognize these outstanding athletes is Assistant Principal John Cortelli.
Thank you. We had a great spring, and certainly we have, I think, a lot of our kids showed up tonight, so I just ask the board members to bear with us. We're going to be here for a little bit, which is a good thing. But we'll start with our girls lacrosse team, and Ann Jennings, our coaches to my left. Ann is going to actually call the young ladies up, but these awards are really very prestigious. They come from the United States Lacrosse Association. Our kids are going to be recognized for the dedication to the sport, and then also academic All-American. So I'm going to let Ann take over, and I will hand out the awards.
Thank you. Good evening. Our first award, we're so proud and honored to announce. It's the first for girls lacrosse. It's called the Jackie Prince Award, which is given by U.S. Lacrosse to one member, one graduating senior in each chapter. And we're fortunate this year to be given to Allison Mernick, who's a senior and going to be graduating and going to Muhlenberg. And also, just to tell you a little bit about the award, it's given to a senior who truly loves the game of lacrosse and has dedicated herself in bettering the community and teaching our youth, and Allison has done a great job of that. And also, her mother, just so you know, is the assistant varsity coach, Susan Marnick. So, congratulations, Allison. Next year, we're fortunate to have 5 academic All-Americans that, again, is given by U.S. Lacrosse. And this is for girls who not only excel on the lacrosse field, but also in the classroom, and as well give back to our community. And we're pleased to announce Caleb Bigelow. I'm not sure she's here this evening. Christina Deniskis. Christina's a senior going to Rutgers University. Eve Mahaney. Eve is a junior and will be a captain next year for us. Allison Mernick. And our last one is Jamie Putnam. She couldn't be here this evening.
Thank you, Ann. At this time, I'd like to recognize our girls spring track team. Coach Wallace and Coach Lynchuk, I think you're both here. Could you please come up?
Thank you.
Our girls track team this past spring won the Super Essex Conference Large School Championship. So on behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to present that to our coaches. And can the captains please come up? Okay, at this point, we're going to do some individual awards for spring track for some of the records that the young ladies set.
Good evening. So as Mr. Roselli stated, we were the league champions. The first award we're going to give is to Stephanie Hayes, who finished first in the 1600, that's our mile, and also second in the 800. The nex young lady I will speak about will be Eliana Tyler. She's a junior. She finished first in the 800 and was also second on the 4x4 meter relay. But on the 800, she also set a new league record with a time of 2:25. Eliana Tyler. Now these two young ladies were also members of the 4x8 that competed down in Greensboro, North Carolina at the New Balance National Championships. That was this past weekend. And they finished 14th out of 29 teams in the emerging elite section. So very proud of those ladies. The next young lady I will speak on will be Sierra Stewart. She's a junior. She finished first in the discus and set a new league record of 36 feet 8 inches in the shot put. Sierra Stewart. And last but certainly not least, India Hill. She's one of our seniors. She finished first in the discus with a throw of 104 and also fourth in the shot put. She was also our state sectional champion, and she's also going to be attending Widener University in fall with the major in mechanical engineering. India Hill.
Thank you, Coach Wallace. Our crew team had an unbelievable spring, winning numerous gold medals, had some very prestigious regattas. Stokesbury certainly is probably one of the most prestigious in the country for high school crew teams, and they really cleaned up there, and they did great at nationals. And I'm going to have Coach Jeremy come up with his staff. We have, I think, about 10 boats that won gold medals, so it's going to take us a little time, but they certainly are deserving of this. So, Coach?
Looks like the only one here. Good evening. Okay. This is for the women's varsity quad, won a gold medal at the States, silver medal at Nationals. Mada Asa Remedios. And Daria Taylor. So this is the girls' varsity lightweight 4. It's got to straight to say Charlotte's surname. Charlotte, where are you? Come on. Ariel Mann, Kelly Meisler, Andrew Schneider, and Emily Schnippen. Okay, this is the girls' junior varsity 8. They won gold at Stokesbury Regatta, beating over 50 crews from around the country. Nina Silverman, Megan Ayala, Zoe Osborglitzo, Jamie Knopf, Shay Lewis, Chantal Negley, Courtney Stiff, Monique Van Winden, and lastly Jenna Walpole. Okay, this is the girls' freshman 8. They won gold at Stakes this year. Alison Connors, Sophia Corriere, Caitlin Day, Kelly Friedman, Kate Heisler, Caroline Kelly, Elizabeth Lewandowski. I never call these kids by their first names, you have to excuse me for surnames. Okay, this award's for girls freshman quad. They won gold at States, they won a bronze at Nationals this year. Neve Burton, Ellie Gardner, Linus Harvey, and Anastasia May. This is the girls' freshman 4. They won gold at States this year. Kaya Benitez, Rachel Brown, Tyler Nettie, Elizabeth Schifrin, Rebecca Sauer. This is boys varsity Fox 4, and gold at States, gold at Stokesbury this year. Amelia Common, Nate Goodman, Aidan Klein, Justin Murphy, and Jake Stefanski. This is boys lightweight varsity double. Won gold at States this year. Teddy Cahill and Dylan Lewis. Next award is boys junior varsity 8. Won gold at States, gold at Philadelphia Cities, gold at Stokesbury, silver at Nationals. Yannick Bielski, Matthias Hahn, Ed Colco, Joe Michelitsianos, Eli Pompao, Nathan Pollock, Noah Schifrin, Johnny Silverman, and James Wisniewski. last group. This is boys junior varsity quad, won gold at nationals this year. Oh, sorry, excuse me, gold at states. Owen Daly-Smith, Jamie Pugh, Adam Pollock, and Ethan St. John. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, coaches. Our crew team will be recognized on Wednesday night by the Board of Freeholders at the Montclair Town Hall at a 4:15 ceremony to Freeholder Hill. So we certainly look forward to that, but they certainly had an outstanding year and deserve a tremendous amount of credit among their coaches. Thanks to the Board of Education for recognizing all our kids. Thank you.
I would just like to take a few minutes to talk about 4 key leadership hires that are on our personnel agenda for approval by the Board of Education this evening. And I want to share a few things about each individual, and you know, I look forward to the community getting to know these folks, and then some of these folks are people that have already been serving our community very well. The first individual I'd like to introduce in a new role is Dr. Felice Harrison as our Chief Human Resource Officer. Many of you know Felice Harrison. She has very strong community ties. She has a very deep knowledge of the community partnerships, and we will benefit a great deal from that knowledge base. What you might not know is what a quick study Felice is. Felice has been acting interim personnel administrator since January. She picked up, as many of you know, we have a very slim central office, so with little to no support, Felice took on that assignment and has been unbelievable in that position. She has taken care of, that position just requires a level of detail that is significant, and so I have to recognize Felice for taking that position on and doing such a great job. I think something that at least I didn't know, many of you probably did know, but I think it's important to kind of share some unique things that Felice will bring to our team that you might not know. And I didn't know of her extensive history with pre-K, and that's something we need a lot of help with, and you know, is a key part of our strategic plan. So I'm very honored and pleased to recommend her for the position of Chief Human Resource Officer. Well-deserved applause, I think. My second recommendation as Chief Academic Officer is Ms. Gail Clark. As you know, Gail is currently the principal of Nishwain School. She has served as a school leader here in Montclair in 2 of our elementary schools since 2004. She has a deep understanding from that work of the preparation our teachers have had in the area of curriculum and instruction, and I think that will really inform her work moving forward. If you didn't know, she is a self-professed organization nerd. This is going to be very helpful as she attempts to organize and coordinate multiple teacher teams in our curriculum work moving forward. She has also served as a gifted and talented coordinator, and you'll notice that we do have in our strategic plan some work on our SAIL program at a district level, and she's also served as a union leader, which I think will be helpful to our team as well. And so I'm again honored and proud to recommend Gail Clark for the position of Chief Academic Officer. I am recommending Brian Fleischer for the position of Chief Operating Officer. Brian comes to us from the New York City Department of Education as the Auditor General. He has a very strong financial and operational experiences in his work at the New York City Department of Education. In his interview, he focused on the fact that we need effective and efficient operations in order to leverage more resources to teaching and learning. His experience with grants, compliance, and federal programs will also be very valuable to the role. He has a law degree from Columbia, and he is a lifelong resident of Montclair. As a matter of fact, his mom, who I believe is here this evening, was a kindergarten teacher here for 23 years. I am honored and pleased to recommend Brian Fleischer for the position of Chief Operating Officer. And finally, I am recommending Michelle Russell for the position of Chief Talent Officer. Her work in leading professional development focused on differentiating of instruction, using assessment data to inform instruction, culturally relevant teaching, and leveraging multiple intelligences will prove beneficial to this position. Her strong desire expressed during her interview to be in our schools, working with our teachers and our leaders, was one of the things that really had her stand out in the process. Her personal experiences in school of racial injustice that inform and fuel her work, I think will be beneficial to us as well. Again, I am honored and pleased to recommend Michelle Russell for the position of Chief Talent Officer. Just say to the board that one of the things that was an advantage when I came here was the ability to really think of the team as a whole. And as I met with these 4 talented individuals this evening, I said to them that I truly believe that teamwork is much more powerful than individual abilities. And so I believe it's the synergy of this team. Each one of these individuals brings some very unique characteristics, skills, and knowledge to our team. And it's my intent for us to work together, to call one another on things, and be very open to sharing challenges and things that may not be going well, including pushback on me. I think that's so important that for us to serve our schools well, to support our teachers and our principals and all of our staff with students at our focus requires a team that works together, that questions each other, and at all points keeps students at center. And I trust this team to do so. And so I highly recommend this team to our board.
Personnel report was discussed in executive session immediately prior to this meeting. I'd like a motion to approve the personnel report. A second? Second. Any discussion? No discussion. It was done in executive session. Are we ready for a vote, please?
Ms. Coe?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Deutsch?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Ms. Larson?
Yes.
Ms. Lombard?
Yes.
Mr. Rosen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
I'd like each of the candidates to come up and just say a few words to the audience. Elise, could you start us off?
Board of Education members, I am grateful for the opportunity to continue to serve the Montclair Public Schools and the Montclair community overall. We have a proven record of excellence and a committed community of educators, parents, and partners who embrace the uniqueness and diversity of Montclair. I'm encouraged that we'll continue to embrace our uniqueness and our diversity. I know that we have a passionate Board of Education, a superintendent, community, parents, staff. So I know that I'm in the right place. You know, it truly is an honor, and I don't take this lightly, it truly is an honor to be able to give back to a community that gave so much to me in my own educational experience. And just really in support of all that we do in Montclair to celebrate the uniqueness and to celebrate the diversity and to celebrate the creativity and the achievement of all students. So I truly thank you. I don't take this lightly, and I know that we have a lot of challenges, but we also have a lot of good times ahead of us. So again, thank you, Dr. McCormick, and Board of Education.
Gail?
Thank you, Dr. McCormick, President Colwin, board members, staff members, parents. It is, I echo Felice's well-spoken thoughts. It is an honor to be asked to serve in this capacity. It's been an honor to serve in Montclair Public Schools over the past 9 years, and I have worked with and learned from an amazing group of teachers and staff members, and I am a better person, and I believe a better leader for that work with everyone. I'm excited to be leading our academic office. We have lots of work to do. I'm excited to be working with experts in the field, and I speak specifically to the teachers. I am a classroom teacher of 16 years myself, and I know the work is hard. I know the demands are many, and I'm here to support you and the amazing work that you do currently for our children and to move us forward as a district. So I thank you again, and I look forward to service for many years to come.
Brian?
Thank you, Dr. McCormick. Thank you, board members, and thank you all for coming out. I can't tell you how excited I am to be coming home professionally. This town has meant the world to me and my family for such a long time. And when I recently started my own family, I could think of no other community where I wanted them to grow up than Montclair. I know how much you all have invested in the quality of this school district. Your kids, first and foremost, but as taxpayers, I know that we all make a major sacrifice to live here with the amount that we pay, and you deserve to know that the funds that are supporting our schools are being used wisely, efficiently, and effectively, and that they are supporting the quality of education that your kids receive. And that is my commitment to you, that will always be my top priority. And to the principals and the teachers in this school district, I just want to say I have such tremendous respect for the work you do. I come from a family of educators. As you heard, my mom taught for 23 years in this school district, and I saw how hard she worked every day, every night. My wife was a high school English teacher in Milburn and is now the director of guidance at Immaculate Conception here in town, so she's an educator as well. I have such tremendous respect for education, and Another major goal of mine is to allow the educators of this district to be able to focus on education and teaching and learning and not have to worry about the operations, not have to worry about the finances. I want to serve you and make sure that you can do what you need to do to focus on teaching and learning and educating our kids. And thank you very much.
Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. I just have to say thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. Many of you don't know, I'm from Philadelphia originally, but I've lived for the past 8 years in Chicago. So I flew in from the Windy City, and I'm so tremendously excited to be here and to join this team. As Dr. McCormick mentioned, my passion is students and seeing students be successful, every student, not just one. And I believe that starts with high quality instruction. And I really am excited about joining such a tremendous group of teachers who are fully committed to making sure that their students attain success. So I'm excited about working with you. I asked specifically when I interviewed whether I could be in school because I truly miss being around students and the energy that they have and what we learn from them. So I'm looking forward to being a part of your school community broadly in terms of the entire district. And I'm also excited about the work that we have ahead of us. It's going to be hard work, but I believe that the experts are in the room and not that I am the expert. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you, board members, for having me, and I'm looking forward to tremendous results.
Good evening once again. Dr. McCormick is going to be speaking in just a moment about the Strategic Action Plan. And I'd just like to make a few remarks on behalf of my colleagues and myself. The plan focuses on 7 areas identified by Montclair community members as top priorities for improving our school district, and specific measurable objectives to help us determine if we are indeed meeting our goals. The plan reflects what we heard from community members, a desire for more consistent and consistently rigorous instruction across classrooms, education that nurtures the whole child, and a school system that engages parents and community members. You'll see in Dr. McCormick's plan some components that many of you have asked for. A restoration of world language in all K-5 schools by this fall. An intention to address pre-K services for our most vulnerable youngsters. A greater focus on communication from the district and on student, staff, and parent satisfaction and input as measured through school climate and other surveys. But most important, the plan focuses on improving instructional quality in order to close achievement gaps, provide greater challenge for students who need it, and to meet the more rigorous Common Core state standards adopted by the state of New Jersey. We know that many of you came tonight out of a concern about the common assessments, which are one of several strategies to improve instruction. Dr. McCormick will address these assessments in her presentation in the context of the overall strategic plan. And at this time, I invite Dr. McCormick.
Welcome all. So tonight I'm going to attempt to do a broad overview of what is a fairly specific and detailed plan. I have to start by just thanking all of you who have read through it. The feedback that I've received indicates that folks have spent time, and where we might all not agree, I can't tell you how valuable I find it to be part of a community this engaged and this willing to be thoughtful about the education of our children. Nothing means more to a community, and I'm happy to be part of this level of engagement. I just wanted to start by thinking about, well, what's the purpose of this strategic plan? And in the end, really just two things. One, I mentioned in each of the community meetings I had with you when I was originally asking about the strengths and the challenges, that this is a very good school system. And so really the only reason to have a plan like this is so that we can continue to improve. And as I spoke to group after group, that idea that yes, we're good, but we can continue to strive to improve was something that shone through in each and every conversation. In addition, to provide each and every one of our students an opportunity to learn at high levels was another piece that really rang true for every meeting that I had. And so I just want to spend a little bit of time on each of these 7 goals and sort of remind all of us how they came to be. And the first one, high expectations and achievement for all. Essentially, the community said they see 3 groups of students, and they need to make sure that each one of those students' groups, their needs are met. For our high achievers, we can't accept boredom. We have to continue to challenge our high achievers. For our students in the middle, we need to make sure we're meeting their needs because we believe they too can be high achieving. And then finally, for our most struggling students, we must give them the supports necessary to allow them to join those high achieving ranks as well, because we believe that all of our students can, but some of our students need extra time and extra support. Consistent and rigorous instruction. That came from the community saying, when my student is taking Algebra 1, when my grade 6 student is in language arts, when my grade 4 student is in mathematics, I want to know that the teacher in front of my child is preparing them for that next grade level. And I want to be sure that each and every one of our teachers is able to do that. And then I need to, that I can stop worrying about finding out which teacher is the one that I need to go to the principal for and support my child to be in that teacher's classroom. We want to make sure that each and every one of our classrooms allows our students to learn what they need to learn in order to be prepared for that next grade level. Effective central services. This came up repeatedly, and I worked with central office staff the other day to accept that, indeed, in most districts, central office would probably be listed in the challenge area, and that we too would work to make sure we were in service to our schools, our principals, and our teachers, and that we're meeting our community's needs. Effective communications and parent engagement, communication from the district, specifically two-way communication. Our parents, our community members, our teachers want to make sure that this isn't just sending out announcements, but it's effective two-way communication, including some really effective parent engagement strategies. Effective leadership. We want to make sure as a community that we have a leadership pipeline. that we're able to have a bench of potential leaders and that we're paying attention to that our leaders in our schools are able to give the kind of effective feedback teachers deserve with regards to continuously improving instruction. Equitable resources in school offerings. Our community has made it clear that our magnet system is a foundation of who we are. But in addition, we want to be sure that all students, KA, have certain standard offerings. And so this was called for repetitively. And then finally, give the time and attention our high school deserves. People spoke about our high school as a diamond in the rough and that it deserves and should be the jewel of our community, and I couldn't agree more. So that's where these 7 goals originally came from. And I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on each one in order to again, give us a good feeling of the plan that is in front of the board tonight. For our first goal, high expectations and achievement for all, in general, here are what the objectives are. Now, having measurable objectives has been a topic that we've discussed, that folks have discussed and had strong feelings about. But here's where I land on it. Certainly, not everything we do in education is measurable or ever will be. But that doesn't mean that as we set a goal like high expectations and achievement for all, that we don't say there are some ways to measure our progress on that particular goal. And so these objectives are those ways that as a community we've landed on. We want to make sure we're improving school climate. We want to make sure that we're seeing student academic growth on district assessments as well as state assessments. We do still strive to demonstrate proficiency and advanced proficiency on the state assessment NJS. We added having improved individual education plans for our special education students and a progressive framework, a tiered system for addressing learning and behavioral needs. And so our strategies to reach those objectives include having climate surveys in our schools and training our staff around climate support. Around academic growth, having a curriculum that does include those common formative assessments and the professional development to use the data from those assessments to meet student needs. We need, if we're going to improve individual education plans, then we need to have a rubric to measure or to list the criteria for an effective IEP and a monitoring system. The district wants to have a SAIL program or a gifted and talented program that's supported more centrally. And then a real focus on some transitions that the community has identified as in need of some focus from grade 8 to grade 9 and grade 9 to grade 10. As President Colin indicated, the common assessments have garnered a great deal of discussion. So I wanted to share with you what I see as some of the benefits. I know many of you have seen our frequently asked questions communique meant to answer a lot of the concerns and questions that you have. We'll continue to grow that document as additional questions arise. But in a nutshell, what is the purpose of these? And I have to tell you that the purpose of these assessments is not evaluative in nature, but rather student-centered. I do believe that the quality of these assessments will far exceed the quality of an assessment designed by an individual teacher, the quality of an assessment I might find in the back of a textbook, and the quality of an assessment I could buy from Pearson. These assessments, designed by our teachers, will be of higher quality. They can form a foundation for sharing best practices. A best practice means that it's a practice that allows students to learn at a high level. And so these common assessments across grade levels can help teachers see, gosh, this practice that I utilized really demonstrated effect. And I want to share that with my colleagues. These assessments, again, are designed to inform student learning, both of our students performing in the highest levels, our students in the middle, and our struggling students. For our highest achieving students, these assessments will tell us that they need more rigorous work and more challenges. For our middle students, they will better allow us to target their needs in the classroom. But for our most struggling students, I assure you that we've got a group of a very dedicated staff waiting to assist those students. And so these assessments address the achievement gap. They inform the teachers and our paraprofessionals who give extra support to our most struggling students. These assessments can allow those staff to truly target that extra assistance. As well as our community partners. Our community partners have said to me that they want to help and that they want to embrace these new standards we're being held accountable to. And they can only do that with the kind of information that these assessments can offer. And so again, in an effort to address our achievement gap, our community partners would be better informed as far as targeting the assistance students need. Again, there's been a number of questions about the common assessments. These are just a few, but I'd like to address them tonight as well as any other questions that might come up as folks are speaking. But do they decrease teacher creativity? And my answer to that is absolutely not. Assessments and standards simply define and always have what students need to learn. Certainly not how a teacher might creatively teach those standards, the knowledge and the skills. As a matter of fact, I talked the last time I spoke about having 3 teachers teaching a given difficult concept 3 different ways and having that be so beneficial to our new teachers. For a new teacher who is thinking about presenting information on a particularly difficult concept, to be able to see on video, and Lois Whipple and I talked about this, on video, great teachers teaching that concept in different ways so that new teacher can inform their work would be very beneficial. And so we applaud the idea that there would be variety and creativity in teaching. The question about why 4? It seems that there's confusion that these assessments could be part of the evaluation process with regards to student growth objectives. And the state's required that our teachers set student growth objectives. And the state has required that our teachers design very high level, they've got quite a list of criteria, and I'll share this later, assessments. And in that system, the state simply requires a pre-assessment and something at the end. Well, that's not what these assessments are about. These assessments, as I said, are to address learning needs of students. And so 4, because at 10-week intervals, we can truly adjust instruction to meet student needs. And waiting for 20 weeks or until the end of the year puts us in the same spot as we are in with NJS. At the end of the year, we learned what students needed. And it's the end of the year, we're able to adjust to meet those needs. I understand that students were concerned about how much they would count, and that midterms and finals count a certain percent, and would these count the same, etc. I can tell you that they will count the same as the current assessments. These aren't additional assessments. They are meant to be in lieu of, instead of, assessments that you're already taking. Our students take many, many tests in a quarter. And these assessments would simply take the place of some of those. In the case of high school and middle school, where midterms and finals are given, these assessments would take the place of those midterms and finals and count the same as those midterms and finals. Have the same type of learning assessed. It's my understanding that some students were concerned that some detailed knowledge that you might be exposed to in September and assessed on would be something on the final. Well, that wouldn't make sense. The final is about testing the big picture items, making sure you have the broad skills that you needed. And so I'm hoping that this kind of addresses some of that. Will these assessments negatively impact AP courses or small learning communities? Those are a particular concern. AP courses will continue to focus on AP standards and AP tests. Our small learning communities have always been required to teach the standards, and so there's no change here. And I have to say that as I met with the high school teachers to talk about this, I learned that some of our small learning communities teach, for example, U.S. history differently. Some of them teach it thematically, and some of them teach it by dates. And so what we've done is we've offered the ability to write assessments thematically in the small learning communities that teach that way, and then by dates in the groups or the classes that are taught by teachers in those ways. So we are working very hard with our teaching staff to be sure that we're meeting the needs appropriately while we design these assessments. I do want to go on to the rest of the plan to make sure that the audience understands the other parts of this plan, because the common assessments have gotten so much attention. I want to be sure that we understand the plan as a whole. Under consistent and rigorous instruction, our objectives include three things, and I've talked about this before. In order to hold teachers accountable for effective instruction, I think you need three things. One, clarity about expectations. That's what the Marshall rubric is doing for us. It tells us very clearly what we believe effective teaching is. Two, specific and quality feedback. That's why the second objective here is making sure our administrators are giving that quality feedback to teachers to improve instruction. And three, that the professional development we are offering to teachers is effective as defined by our teachers. And so those are the objectives, and the strategies include ongoing and targeted professional development. Ongoing and targeted is important. This isn't going to be a one-shot deal. Come in August, we give you 1 day on the Marshall rubric and you're set to go. This is ongoing and then targeted so that it's meeting the specific needs of a given school. Ongoing and targeted professional development for both teachers and principals. Support and professional development for our school improvement panel teachers. The state has required that each of our schools has a school improvement panel, includes the principal, another supervisor who evaluates teachers, and a teacher to plan the professional development to support instruction. We need to make sure that our teachers on that team are well supported and get the professional development they need. And I have to thank Gail Shepard for her input on that. And then finally, the development of a teacher career ladder. We believe that our most effective teachers are going to be best for assisting our teachers across our schools and continually to improve instruction. And so that teacher career ladder that allows a master teacher to share his or her expertise will be very important here. Talk about effective central services. It's the same system here for accountability. Clarity about expectations, support by the way of specific and effective feedback from supervisors, and then learning supports in order to continuously improve. Our objectives are that our central services are rated as effective by our staff and our parents, the people we are there to support, and that we meet our goals. We need clear job descriptions to do that. We need ongoing and targeted training to do that, and then regular and specific feedback from supervisors. Effective communication, we heard this loud and clear. Our community expects more. And so our objectives will include ratings from our families and our staff as to the effectiveness of our communication. High-functioning school action teams was something that got a lot of attention in our forums. And then effective parent engagement strategies. To do those things, we're going to need to survey and have focus groups about what specifically folks want communicated and how we can best communicate that and how we can continue to improve our communication. For the SAT, we learned that we need specific expectations that are district-wide, and we offer aligned training to those expectations. And And then finally, we need to offer training on a variety of engagement strategies. Effective leadership. You see a repetition here of clarity of expectations through the Marshall rubric, making sure that administrators are able to utilize the teacher Marshall rubric well, and then that they rate the professional development they get as effective. And again, ongoing and targeted professional development is the way to get us here. As well as our principals and our assistant principals need to understand the curriculum and the common assessments and how you use that data to inform and improve learning. And then finally, a leadership pipeline to support homegrown leadership, to make sure again that we've got that leadership bench when we have leadership needs in the district. Equitable resources. Again, our community was clear. We believe the magnet system is the foundation. So I said to the board, why not have a Board of Education policy cementing that? Don't worry anymore when you hire a new superintendent whether they're going to support the magnet system. It is who you are. And so when the board puts that in policy, that becomes part of who you are. As well as standard offerings in AA. The community was clear. Some community members felt all of our students should be exposed to instrumental music at a certain level. Yes, we understand our magnets might have more, but we want to make sure every student has instrumental music. We're going to have those conversations in order to cement what do we think those standard offerings should be and what makes the magnet unique. An effective world language program. We heard that loud and clear through the 110 meetings and then all the community forums. Our community demands world language instruction of quality and cannot wait for me to plan for a year and get going on K-5. But we must do something with K-5 in the 13-14 year. And then finally, pre-K. I can't talk about the achievement gap if I don't talk about pre-K. And so that was loud and clear as well. And finally, Montclair High School. How can we make sure that the diamond in the rough is the jewel of our community? Well, we need to make sure that the facility and the technology needs of that school are met. We need to make sure that communication and guidance support is what the community demands and needs. And finally, we want to make sure that all of our small learning communities meet the level of criteria that we set. And so what we need to do is to determine what those facility and technology needs are, determine what the communication and guidance needs are, and learn what are some of those best practices happening in our small learning communities. The academic and instructional goals, and there were many that folks shared with regards to the high school, are met in goals 1 and 2 of the plan. Now I have to tell you that the state mandates, which are many for us, have something to do with the plan or are not the genesis of this plan. They're there, and there are things that we need to do. But again, they are not the only driving force here. And so yes, we have new Common Core state standards that we will be held accountable to. Most importantly, that our students will take assessments aligned to in 2014-15. So while we're feeling the pressure, we know in 2014-15, our students will be sitting at a computer taking an assessment that we want them to be prepared for. And so K-12 literacy and math, I think it's important to recognize that 6-12 literacy in history, social studies, science, and technical subjects is part of the Common Core. Sometimes that gets lost in translation. In addition, our state has mandated new teacher and principal evaluation systems. These systems include student academic measures. Things called student growth objectives in every content area are required. And in grades 4 through 8 on the NJS, the state will include student growth percentiles. As I've said before, if they put me in charge of the evaluation systems, we would only be doing the rubrics this year. It's a lot on our plates. We don't have a choice. And both of these items around student growth measures are required and mandated by our state. When I think about the Common Core state standards, in order for me to decide, do I embrace this or not, I read them. And I ask myself, are they better for kids? And in my mind, the answer is yes. This is a simple example. The top is a New Jersey core curriculum standard that existed in 2004, and it says to produce written work and oral work that demonstrates you comprehend informational materials. And you've probably heard me before say, I could do anything as a teacher with a nonfiction piece of literature and be meeting this standard. And so I think clarity is helpful to all of us, most importantly to teachers. And so the Common Core that says that I need a nonfiction piece where a student can determine 2 or more central ideas in the text, analyze their development over the course of the text, and provide an objective summary of the text. That clarity does allow for more rigorous learning, and that clarity tells me this will not be assessed with a bubble-in, multiple-choice, standardized assessment, which is why the assessment our students will be taking in 14-15 will be 50% performance-based, and why I welcome our common assessments being 100% performance-based, because these types of skills require a different kind of assessment. I did want to mention the student growth objectives. The state has a process that teachers will need to go through to have their assessments approved. It's quite onerous. There's a process where you have to show alignment to standards. There's a process where you need to show that your questions have rigor and depth. And then there's a whole checklist to fill out. And yes, our teachers can do this. But in addition, I think it behooves us as a district to set forth some models. And so our common assessments will meet this criteria. Our common assessments do not need to be used for the student growth objectives, but they should model the criteria our teachers will be required to meet for the state evaluation purposes. In addition, once the assessment is approved, our teachers are required to identify and have approved by their administrators starting points using pre-assessment or other assessment data. And then finally, they can set those student growth objectives. This is a lot of work, and again, I think it behooves the district to set forth some models, so we will do that. But what I've said repeatedly to our teachers and to our principals is this: we will write some model SGOs using the common assessments. The common assessments will meet this criteria. But a teacher who says to his or her principal, look, I have pre-assessment data that tells me these model SGOs don't work for my classroom, that teacher will set other student growth objectives. Again, the common assessments are not about meeting SGO criteria. The common assessments are about meeting student learning needs. So I thank you for your time and attention on the strategic plan again, and I look forward to moving forward. Thank you.
Before we proceed with the public comment, I'd like to acknowledge right up front that some of the issues that we're dealing with tonight are challenging. And I need your assistance in order to keep the discussion focused and as productive as possible. Please help by focusing your comments on the issues without attacking people. We need to keep the discussion, comments, and tone of this meeting civilized and respectful. We, everyone here, should make it safe for people to express their views. We can all be passionate about issues, but be soft on people. Please help me by waiting to be recognized to speak, by not interrupting, by avoiding side conversations, by staying on track, by not dominating, and by keeping your comments to the 3 minutes allotted for each member of the public, and stay focused. I respectfully ask that you not interrupt a speaker to applaud, call out, shout, or boo anything, please. This will only serve to take time away from their 3 minutes. You may not cede your time to another speaker. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. And finally, we must all make a genuine effort to listen and to learn from all speakers, students, parents, teachers, principals, staff, even board members. We must always focus on our common purpose. If you do all of these things, we are likely to have a productive meeting. And the need for me to interrupt people and remind them of the meeting guidelines will be minimal, hopefully non-existent. I would like the gavel to remain on the table until used to adjourn this meeting. And I thank you in advance for helping me make this meeting as positive and productive as possible. Do we have a sign-in sheet? Was there one there?
It was.
Once the sign-in sheet arrives, when you are called and go to the podium, if you would give your name and address, please, for the record. Regina Toomer. Ms. Davis on Willowdale Avenue, and Marcel.